Late. No, and I haven't heard from Smith, but I haven't seen him for a long time. Yeah, I think he's doing fine. I mean, he always had the last laugh. You know, that's what was so great about that story. When I was writing it, I realised he was the, always the kids at school that always sort of, did well and were sort of glamorous ones, but actually he was the fighter. He kept on going.
Yeah, well, it says something about you that you identified with him.
I did identify.
Yeah, that's lovely. I was thinking when I started to read the book, it's a very unusual book because it's a celebrity autobiography that not only has the celebrity actually read, but they've actually written it themselves. Very often you go to interview somebody who has got their autobiography out and you tell them things about their life that they don't actually remember writing. So what made you decide to write it yourself? Because it is quite an unusual decision.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that funny that it is an unusual decision? I just sort of started, really. I was writing a book with my brother, and then I started doing a comedy drama. And I just sort of started remembering these funny stories. Like the David Beckham one, and things that happened at school, and just sort of evolved from there. And I got a lot of enjoyment out of it. Because of the job that I do, it's a fantastic job, but lots of rather surreal moments do happen. A bit like when I was introduced to the show in Ireland, which is the beginning of the first chapter. It said, "This is Will Young, he also gets depression." That's my introduction. Here he is with his new single. How do you want me to be there with a noose around my neck? But it's just so amusing, this kind of thing. So, another thing I write about, I would have done like a month's worth of promotion, and someone will come up and go, "Are you still singing? Are you still singing?" And I'm furious about it. Yes, I'm still relevant. I like the idea of being honest about the insecurities that can come with the job, as much as all the glamorous and wonderment that comes with it, with doing a job that you love. There's also all the things about, God, I wasn't invited to that party, or when I get on the front cover of that magazine. And I just think it's interesting to be honest about it, rather than just say, "Oh, this is my perfect life," and isn't it all wonderful? It's just everyone has ups and downs. So I really enjoyed being so candid about it.
And was there a sense that you were ready to write this now because Gareth Gates published his autobiography 10 years ago?
So I'll say that I actually had 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, one looks a bit like a cookbook. No, I actually had 3, but I never wrote them, and they were very much nodding, very much set around Pop Idol, and then around the subsequent 2 or 3 years. So this was really, proper autobiography. And only little bits. I mean, there's so much to write about. They're just sort of little snippets. Could go on.
Well, this is just volume 1.
This is just volume 1. There's already been hysterical things about them. Yeah.
Well,
since volume 1.
You could meet Smith, maybe find Smith.
I wonder what he is doing. Yeah. Maybe he ended up being a professional diver. I don't think so.
But you are very candid in the book. I mean, and as you do in your music and in your acting and everything you do, you very much wear your heart on your sleeve. And that's very evident from this book. Why did you think it was so important to do that? Because you really do share a lot and you give a lot, and that's what it hasn't cost.
It's just me, really. I could not do that, really. If you're going to do it, if I'm going to do it, I might as well do it properly. So I mean, I didn't want to just write how fantastic this is, because that's just not life. It's just not life. So I write about my depression, and I write about good times. And I just think that it's really important, because otherwise, what's the point? If you want to read that, another great day, I get picked up in a limo. I hang out with my famous friend. It's just so wonderful. That's just bollocks. Sometimes I really don't want to go to work. Just like everyone else.
Yeah. And
most days I do, I must say.
Good. And how did you find the process of writing it? Did you set aside a period of time, or did you try and fit it in with everything else that you do?
I tried to fit it in. I mean, I actually think that's the best way. I normally find when I'm busy, I get more done. If I'm not busy and I think, oh, right now, I was just talking to KP, who's my friend who's done the illustrations, and if I allot sort of all this time to do the book, I think I would never have started even, you know, so I just sort of fitted it in around touring and learning for cabaret even, and, you know, all this other stuff, promoting. So like the bit about Ireland, sorry, when I was in Ireland, the guy said, this is where young gets depression, I just wrote it down, you know, that night. I thought, well, I'll just jot that down. So it's a very sort of piecemeal process, which sort of suited me.
And there's a sense that you've almost been gathering these anecdotes for some time.
Yes.
You do come across as a bit of a raconteur in this, and almost there's a sense of some of it being like stand-up comedy sets. You know, do you often entertain?
I actually think that I'm a comedian. I saw my producer, Steve Lipson, who's produced 2 of my records last night. He said, "Oh, you're quite funny." Oh, yeah, I've been telling you this for years. Funny. Really just got it? No, I don't tell my friends. No, they don't listen. They get bored. All right, yeah, we know that. They're normally there with me, actually.
And so now cabaret, as alongside the book, is the focus. But you mentioned the comedy drama that you were working on before you started writing this. What's next, and are you still thinking about doing that comedy drama?
Yeah, I might come back to that next year. Yeah, I think there's definitely something in it. And it's so, you know, I love doing comedy. I mean, the bits that I do in the show, as the MC, you know, he's very comedic as well as being mental. And I like that. You know, I like the timing of it. I like the timing of comedy. So I would like to do, I think doing something for TV would be really interesting. Yeah, and to write it.
And how does the writing of this kind of for TV as well, the sort of things you've been experimenting with, how does it compare with writing music and writing your lyrics?
Ooh, it's less collaborative in terms of when I'm in the studio. You know, I'm in always with people who play instruments, because I don't play an instrument. So instantly it starts from more of a collaborative place, whereas with the book, I would jot loads of stuff down, and then Antonio, my editor, would then give an opinion. So, you know, then we'd alter things. Very different. A lot more in the mind, actually, because I would start with a chapter heading, and then it would just go somewhere. You know, I mean, quite often I'd be sitting in my study, laughing at myself, laughing out loud, going, "God, that's so funny." It's tragic, actually. It is tragic. And so it's probably a little bit more insular, I think, than writing a song, because with a song it's very much then instantly out there, you know, and I can email it to someone that's helping me with the A&R, or I can email it to my manager and say, "What do you think?" It's more out there, whereas a book doesn't feel so shared instantly. Yeah.
But you have got a great humour of dealing with everything. And we saw from those 2 extracts actually really illustrate the soul of the book. It's a very satirical eye on your childhood and your upbringing and how you got to this point. But then also on this weird world of celebrity that you've ended up in and that you're a part of, but you're almost like an observer inside it as well. I mean, was this another way for you, writing about it, to come to terms with fame? Because it's not obviously something that you exactly caught.
No, yeah, I suppose so. I mean, what's so nice now is that I'm in a position where I just see how stupid the whole thing is. You know, for years I made that my identity, and thought, okay, well that's it, I'm famous. So then it's all ego-led. You know, well, I can't possibly do that. You know, I'm famous. You know, well, I can't go here, I'm famous. But I was talking about it last night about someone else. I shan't mention who got asked to do something, you know, and he was like, "Oh, I can't possibly do that." And I used to be like that, but actually, you know, once you take this rod out of your bum, you realise it's just the same as everyone else, and I like that because I'm a lot more content, you know. So the reason I like writing about it from that position. I couldn't have written this book 5 years ago because I was still, you know, up my arse. Yeah.
So I won't say anything.
It's really.
You might like to do that.
It's really. sorry. Sorry. Just throw it now. A little coin. Yeah. I tell you what, when you hang around, you know, like Sian Phillips, who's in Cabaret, she's 80 and she's really famous. She's done loads of things. She completely gets it. She's cool about the whole fame thing. She sees how mental it is. You know, she's been right up there, Hollywood A-list, and she's done it all. She knows everyone. And that's what's so great when you get to that position, when you can just observe life. I mean, that's really what it should be. You just observe life. Okay, well, that's interesting, that's funny. That's really sad, you know. That's really annoying. Yeah, it's a really good place to be in. And I'm definitely in that place in
Stop
work.
talking about places where you want to be.
Are you obsessed with that? Share it with the group. I mean, we're all friends. It's the modern world.
No, we're coming with we need to finish now. So that I can go take a cold shower. I just ask you one final question.
Go on. What's this going to be about?
This place, when you like it's always considered that when you write your autobiography, it's supposed to be very cathartic and it makes you feel really great afterwards. You feel like you're in a really great place. Was that true for you? I mean, has it made a big difference to you being able to write this and get it out there? And
Yeah, I think you know, particularly writing about depression, it's great to share it because that's the whole point. You know, you don't have to sit on your own. When I'm really depressed, I don't want to talk to anyone. And the whole thing is actually to do the opposite. Share it, talk to people, and take the venom out of it and the toxicity. So from that point of view, you know, yeah, I've got a book out there now, and it's in the public domain, and everyone knows how unhappy I can get sometimes. So from that sense, I suppose it is cathartic. Yeah. How you doing?
Thank you so much. I'm doing great.
Sex books are on the special exhibition Maple Thorpe.
Can everybody, if you're